hers is an extraordinary record of achievement that will long be felt. But what defines Connie Morella is neither an office nor a title, but her values and her unselfish devotion to helping others.
Welcome back. We've been talking today to Connie Morella, who's back with us visiting here at Montgomery College, and we have talked about you being a professor in the past at Montgomery College and a state delegate. We really should, I want to turn to where you spent 16 important years of your career in the U.S. House of Representatives and representing Maryland's 8th District. Talk about some of those accomplishments that are most important to you, or maybe some of the best memories about time in Congress.
Well, actually, I feel it was such a great privilege to be able to serve the people of the 8th District of Maryland in Congress. I believe in the body. It's extremely powerful, and it's a great opportunity to be able to help people. So I can tell you, first of all, constituent service-wise, it is still nice even now to have people come over to me and say, you know, see this young woman here who's 10 years of age? You helped me get her as an infant into the country so that I could adopt her. Or thank you for helping with Social Security or whatever the problem might be. But legislatively, it was a great vehicle to use. Working together, because you can't do anything alone. And that's how many of those issues dealing with violence against women, with the advancement of women in science, the Office of Research of Women's Health, that's how they came about. They came about because of something that needed to be done and working with others across the aisle. I'm a firm believer that not one party can do what needs to be done, that there has to be a working together. Well,
speaking of party, your election in the first place was not exactly expected and wasn't an easy road. I wonder if you can reflect a little bit about, first, what it takes to become elected as a Republican in Montgomery County. Very rare these days. I don't think I'm counting any out there. But it was a very surprising election in the first place. You taking on Stuart Bainum at that time, maybe not a well-known name in this day and age, but people who remember politics of that day would know that he certainly had all the advantages going into that election.
He did. And as a matter of fact, he was a very fine person, too. He even after the election, which was unexpected, he'd had his celebration party at a hotel in Rockville. I had mine at the VFW headquarters. And so it was kind of funny because the media had to get their equipment and dash down to Wheaton, to the VFW headquarters, when they found out that I had won the election. I think it's because if you can become close to the people, then they respect you and they have confidence in you. And I'll take you back to from my first election for the state legislature. I used the same concept. I expanded on it, obviously, running for Congress, but I knocked on doors. I took people with me, and my children used to say, elect our mother and get her off the streets. And so they were all involved in the campaign, too. But it's the person-to-person contact that I think basically does it. If you can show people that you're there to help them and what you really represent, then I think they open their minds a bit more. So I think it was hard work. I think probably a little bit of luck, but then I always say that the harder I work, the luckier I get, which I think is probably quite true.
What about your particular place in the political spectrum or the political ideology spectrum as a very moderate Republican, or you? Actually, I shouldn't give the label. I'll allow you to say.
No, I'm a moderate. I'm a moderate. I think a moderate. I think most people are, frankly. I think most people are centrists. But as a moderate, it means that I don't follow a specific ideology, but will look at each issue in terms of how it's going to affect my country, my constituency, and my conscience, make a decision, be able to justify it, and keep my constituency in mind as I do it. But if I feel that I don't have to feel that I have to follow what a party says, whether it's the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. I would listen to all sides. But I think a moderate is one that looks at how to get something done and tries to forge partnerships, knowing that compromise may well be part of it in terms of accomplishing what's best. We are, unfortunately, losing a lot of moderates. And as a matter of fact, my study group at Harvard was entitled.
Let's just bring people up to speed.
Okay.
In more recent months, you had a chance to do a fellowship at Harvard and focused on this issue.
Thank you, Steve. It was a resident fellowship for the spring semester at the Institute of Politics at Harvard's Kennedy School. And so in conducting a study group to try to have young people learn more about politics firsthand from people who've been there, it was entitled, my study group was entitled, An Endangered Species, the Moderate in the House of Representatives. And indeed it has come to pass, even since I led that study group, that unfortunately we're losing moderates. We have red and blue, but we don't seem to have more of that kind of purple working together. And my hope for the future is that the people will let their members of Congress and those who aspire to represent them recognize that when they are in that legislative arena, that they must go beyond, out of the box, from a certain ritual into what is in the best interest of the people, and work together.
So